if you have heard of the Demi method, this is using color. I teach it here on my account, and I can show you multiple ways to wear it. It's so versatile because it's not foundation and it's not concealer, and it works on all skin types. So hang out with me as I'm going to do a really simple, easy breezy look today. And take it easy. Say hello when you jump on. Thanks for joining. And let's get ready. What are you guys doing? And did I drop a brush? Nope. Hi, my name is Althea Gobble. I'm an independent Seint beauty artist, and I teach how to wear Demi makeup using color. Let me get this brush. Oh my gosh. Where are you guys from? I'm going to put on brow wax first. This is something that fits in my tin. I like to use a little setting spray. You can use water, and I just like to get it a little bit wet. Hello, Margie. Isn't that Margie? Isn't that right? How are you? Let's see. There's my brush. Hey guys, what are y'all doing this Saturday? We've been up before the sunrise. The sun came up. Don't ask me why. We got plenty of sleep and got up. I had coffee this morning, watched the sun come up. My grilled breakfast on the grill, which he likes to do, and threw on some clothes over top of my pajamas, didn't even brush my teeth, and we looked at some campsites we're going to be going camping, and we wanted to check out a couple of sites. And evidently, everybody has the same idea, because everybody was camping. You could smell the campfire. It was just, and the leaves are perfect. It was just a beautiful little ride. So, I'm going to get ready a little bit, put on some makeup. What are you guys doing? So I just like to really wet the brow wax. Use this little spoolie and tap it into the hair, then let it dry. And then I like to press it with my fingers, so it just takes a little bit for it to dry. You don't want to get it too wet. If you do, you just let it dry a little longer. All right, if you've never heard of Demi, this is using translucent color instead of a foundation or concealer. It's undetectable on the skin. It will never crease, and it's the best thing ever. The goal is using color to add or subtract, and these come in different saturations. So first you want to focus on adding color. I'm going to first, and I've done this different ways. If you've watched me before or follow any of my stuff, you know, hey, nice to see you too. You know there's multiple ways that I've done this. So the reason why I do that is your skin can change. Sometimes you want a different look, but I also want you to feel relaxed and confident in trying it because it's not as hard pressed. Oh yeah, well, a new mascara. Seint doesn't have a mascara, but I'll tell you this much. I love this one. This is great for sensitive eyes. This is L'Oreal Double Extend, and it's a tubular mascara. There's my mama. She's walking to the mailbox. And it's a tubular mascara, and I really love it because I can't wear waterproof. My eyes are very sensitive as well, and this just easily comes off with water, and there's not a lot of pulling or tugging on your lashes, so you should try that one. All right, now I'm going to use NR, a sculpt, and I'm going to use it to add color where I want a little bit of warmth. Like on your forehead, as we age, this gets really, really thin and very bony looking. So it tends to get very white. If you have age spots up here or veins, which I definitely have some large blue veins that you can see through the skin, and double extend. Yes, L'Oreal double extend. I love it. So it shows through more, and your age spots will show through more. Any sun damage you have is going to show through more here as we age, because this is going to get more translucent and show through more. And this is always going to be a place you want to start to add some color. It's a great place. Thrive. I've heard a lot of people love Thrive with sensitive eyes too. Sky High, my daughter loves that one, so I would agree, because she wears contacts, and so sometimes people with contacts, it's hard to find something that doesn't flake off or irritate. Yeah. And let me tell you something, you can't beat like $8. You can't beat it. I sit here and talk long enough, my brows are dry, so I'm just going to go ahead and press. And I just press it and turn it the direction, kind of roll my finger and lay it down. Now, my eyebrows are microbladed, but I have some light hair and empty spaces in there, and I have some gray hair. So I like to do a little fill in, and I'll use a contour for that, a cream contour. You can use an eyeshadow, or you can use your favorite pencil. But the key is, I promise you, if you don't have brows, or if you are on the mature side like me and your brows are thinning, that is one thing you can do to add a little bit of life and attention to your eyes if you do your brows. Highly recommend. Doesn't have to be anything outrageous, just give a little bit of color, and it gives an anchor point for focus on your face. And that really helps. Like when people are speaking to you, they're going to focus on your eyes, which you want. All right, I'm going to start with NR, and I'm going to use the shape brush, just the fluffy end. This is the shape brush you'll see online. This is just one the company gave the artist as little incentives. I just have two. I use this one for one color and this for another. I mean, you don't have to do that. You can wipe it off on this cleaning tile before you change colors, which is really important, or you can use a paper towel or a microfiber cloth. Now, I really want to talk about the application because this color is super saturated, and even though it's translucent, it takes very, very little. This is not applied like your typical foundation or your cream makeup. It is used like a tint, and so you have to apply it a little differently. And these brushes are very silky with blunt ends, so it picks up very little product, so it also helps you from being overly applying the color. I want to focus on areas where I'm light. You're not going to follow like a pattern or anything. You just got to really look at your face and, okay, say this is a light area and apply it that way. And there's multiple colors I can do this with. Like I said, it's not very hard pressed. You could really just have some key colors and play around, and you'll quickly see, ooh, I like that. Nope, I don't like that. And just change how you apply it. Notice I'm pinching the brush, and there's like a little bare spot right in there. And what this, hey there, what it does is the difference in between light and dark distracts from the actual shape of my face. So you can see these little light bony areas, and this NR is a neutral red, meaning it has all three primary colors of pigment in it, but it has a little more of the red, but it has just a touch of blue in it, so it has depth. And you can see how that's adding a little bit of depth to my skin, which I need because it's thin and translucent, and adding this blue back into it, just that little bit of depth makes the skin look more youthful and thicker and less thin and fragile. And you can see just adding it in a couple places where I need it. Typically the closest to the bone. Here in the temple, I have a lot of veins that show through. It's kind of hollow. This happens to us. This side of my face is a lot more than this. Maybe it's because this is the drive-in side. There was more sun damage on this side of my face over the years. I turn 53 next month, and it's just, I can't believe that. See this like right here? I just want to add a little color. So I'm just being very specific where I want to apply it. Could probably use a small brush doing that little section there. I just pinch the brush together. This part, because that's the bone and the skin's really close to the bone, there's veins there. I'm not contouring my cheekbones. I already have hollow cheeks, and I find the mature ladies that I do in person or even virtually, I'm really steering away from asking them to contour into their cheekbone areas, just really focusing on light areas there instead of making this look more gauntly and thin. We need more fullness and volume here, and color can give you that. So notice how I'm just lightly tapping in the tin, and this NR, I would say, if you can see, I probably have had that one color for 2 years. So you're not really pressing into the tin a whole lot. When I go live, sometimes I get distracted and forget to look in the mirror, and I'm looking at my phone and I'm not applying it like I really want to, because I'm focusing on talking to you guys, and sometimes I get really distracted. Notice I'm just really adding some color right here. There's a really big vein. It's lovely. It just gets more and more prominent the older I get. So I'm taking a little bit of that NR. It's kind of like a blue-green color. Orange works on that as well. This just is a little warmer with the red. All right, see here how this is light, okay? Where they have fallen, I want to add a little warmth in there. And I'm really, really light with the color. Notice you do not see the color on the skin as I'm applying it. I'm just being very specific and careful. The reason why I take time to do that, it's not more time consuming, it's because I'm not going everywhere to apply it, and being very specific in the areas that I want it. Then I get more bang for my buck, and I don't have to spend time on blending and adding color back in after taking it all out with foundation. I'm going to switch to a small brush now. I've got all my stuffs in here. I'm going to use the smudge brush. No, is that right? No, blur brush. I got a thumbs up. That was crazy. I've never seen that one before. That was pretty cool. I'm going to use the fluffy end of this blur brush, and I'm going to go back with the NR, and I want to apply in some small areas. See how this is very prominent here? You know, it's pulled down. Well, it's accentuated because of the differentiation between light and dark. And I just really want to find, I do like different little animations, facial expressions. And I'm very, very lightly, see the difference? See, as we age, this will come down and it's going to catch more light. And it's going to pull this down, and when I smile, because this is coming down, this is going to get more prominent. I just really want to soften that harsh line by on either side of it in the light areas, add color. At the same time, I want to be very careful where I apply it, because if I just kind of put it everywhere, whatever was dark is even darker, or it's going to pick up pigment, and then I've created more work for myself. So taking a little bit of time in the front end, applying it exactly where you want it, saves me time at the very end. Now see how much softer this is. I've done this with an O-1. I've done this with O5. See, I'm going to go to that light area here. My brush is basically parallel to the skin instead of straight on. That way I'm just lightly applying the smallest amount of color. You don't need a lot. This to me is really difficult to do with like cream makeup or with a cream contour. Tends to, unless it is a very warm color like cedar. I put this cedar on. It is another good color. I can do this with cedar with ladies, and that's with the Seint makeup one. So I'm just adding a little bit of depth right there. I'm going to turn to switch brushes again. I want something fluffy but small. So this is the bright brush. Lightly tap, and I'm going to add warmth to those light areas underneath my eyes. So watch what happens. Focusing on those areas. You can see I've done this with NG in this area. Like I said, now look at the difference. I didn't take and put like a concealer right there, and I only applied in very small amounts. Nothing is here, nothing is out in here, nothing is down in there, my eye. I just applied it in the smallest amounts of product in the light area, and you can already, I could be fine with that and not have to put anything on filtering the dark points. This eye is more prominent and droops down even more, so you're going to treat it differently. Each eye is going to be a little different. My brush is parallel to my skin, so I don't go and dab in color then blend. You're just going to cause more work for yourself. You always want to keep a loosey-goosey hand, and only I kind of smile, get different expressions, and find those light areas, turning your head side to side. There's more color on this corner than this corner, so I kind of steer away from it. But this little section and this part of my eye kind of droops down. So you just want each side of your face is going to be different, and you just focus on light areas and look at the difference. So right here is a light area, and here is a light area. Now I'm only doing it in light areas that distract from the shape of my face. Like I like this light area. I want to leave that. I don't want to get rid of that. Only in things that are distracting from my shape. Like the shape of my nose, and here. And I'm only using NR. Now you see that? I got too much product. It's because the great thing, just tap it. You can tap it with your finger. But I like using the brush because I feel like tapping with my finger pulls the product off, and using the brush gives me more control, and it leaves the product on the brush instead of my skin. Pulling it off with my finger. So I just really bounced around some light areas on my nose. Same thing, I'm going to use this NR. It's very, very simple, just right in there. Hitting those light areas. That's so simple. All right, I'm going to put my brows on real quick using Indigo Contour and the line brush because the brow wax has dried. I always like to get the tail done first. be sure to ask any questions, guys, if you have any. Have you heard of Demi? This process, have you tried it? I gotta go check on the trout today and put in a biofilter. Did I ever think I was going to be talking about trout and biofilter? No. I raise trout in my classroom and we have way too many. And I went to a lab at UGA of Jay Shelton's and saw how they do their filtering to help pull off the ammonia that the little trout excrete from waste and decay, and it was so simple. So my daddy helped me build a very simple biofilter using a bucket. So I've got to go take care of that. Okay, now I want to add a little bit of flush. If you naturally have some flush in your cheeks, you can not, I wouldn't even add anything. You might need to balance it, like one is redder than the other or has more flush than the other, and you just balance it out. I am not completely loving Spellbound. Spellbound to me is like a black cherry matte, sort of, but on the skin, it's the closest thing I have found that resembles the best, and that's what you want from blush. If you want it to look more like you and like your flush, this is a very natural color. I mean, look at it, it's very, very saturated, which I love. You can even use a smaller brush I have, and I'm only applying this in areas that would look like a natural flush. I like coming high up close to the eye and just give that natural, warm, healthy glow. Love it. Now this side of my face, I want to be sure to stay away with this color because it's very saturated from anything that's dark. I don't want to put something saturated depth of color over something very dark. See the bone, I already put in R there, so I'm just slightly giving a little bit of this vibrant, pretty saturated red-violet color. This is something else you can do here. Let me show you something. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun taking a smaller brush. And you can use it as a sculpt. Hey, Mama. Down in your cheek just a little bit. And apply in some little spots there to give sculpts to your cheeks. See, I have like a red spot there, and I don't want to make that darker, so I stay clear of it. Alright, now I'm going to do a little bit that same color on my lips using this small spot brush. Lightly tap, and I'm only going to touch areas that is missing color. And just applying it this way, guys, lasts me all day because I just want my lip natural color, but it's been lost due to age. It starts looking more blue, splotchy, so it makes them look chapped. So I'm just coloring basically, and I sort of overline the top lip, but there's a dark spot there, so I skip that. And the part in the top, I kind of overline it just a little. Like I said, this color mimics blood flow underneath the skin, and this is a muscle. So that's the reason why your lips have color. It's blood flow, but we lose collagen as we age. So sometimes they either get dark and more blue, or they lose color altogether. So I am just like lightly giving more color to the perimeter. And just hitting those blank spaces. You can just fit it all over if you wish to. Now I'm going to put a little bit of lip conditioner. With it. Alright, now I'm going to do my eyes. Like I said, this is one really simple. I'll clean it off because I used NR. I'm going to use NV+1 to sculpt out my eyes. This is a purple violet. No, this is a neutral purple. And see, this looks wide, and this is going to get wider as we age. And sometimes you will get a pocket here. This side of my face, I get a pocket right in there, a little bulge, and like sinuses. Today seems to be a good day, surprisingly, with all the leaves. So I am just going to add that color right in there to push that back to give me more of an open instead of it falling forward. You can see this is a very dark little spot right there, but I'm going to wait to the end. I'm actually mimicking that color, that purple, but this is a neutral purple, so it's got a little bit of brown to it. So it's like a purple brown pigment, and I'm ignoring the skin folds, and I'm only paying attention to where the bone is and accentuating my shape that way. And each eye is different. The skin comes down here, so if I followed the skin, that's not, my bone is still right here in the same place. So I want to do things to accentuate lift and my bone structure. And what I love about this, just the smallest amount of color, not putting it on like eyeshadow, like NV+1, see this little tin? Probably a year I've had this one, and I have tons of pigment still in there. And I'm just like tapping in the areas that sculpted out. And see, I have a vein that comes down in there. Don't want to add to that. And this little light area, I'm going to add depth in there. Because the shape of my eye is actually like that, but it was kind of taken away from the skin that shows that's lighter and patchy. So I just added depth back into that so you can see the shape of my eye. I'm going to take a little hint of this, a couple of pale spots. You can do that with the NV+1 like I did in R. I'm going to do the same thing here. And again, each eye is different. It's like this one comes forward a little more. And paying attention to like just the bone structure, ignoring the skin, taking a little more time where that hangs down, and just tap it where it's lighter. And notice I'm just going to leave my eye open naturally and not lift it up. I'm not putting it on like a pattern, and both eyes got applied differently. No, I don't think so. You're not going to come on my live. Appreciate it. A little more right in there, don't you think? Hey, honey. What are you doing? Okay. I want a little more defined on my nose, so I'm going to use the NV+1 to lightly touch around some freckling on my nose that takes away from the shape of my nose. So you see, I'm not really following a pattern, I'm just following the shape of my face. Using that. Okay, one more, like here at my eye. See that little, now I'm just going to lightly touch right in there, that one little piece, that little fold that makes a little light area. I lost sound. Did I lose sound? Please. Mike, can you hear me? It's back. Okay, good. Good. Glad. Thank you, Mama, for looking after me. Also going to do this. I'm going to take Spellbound and right into my lash line, I want to apply a little bit of this violet. Yay! The reason why, I like to do that is there's some ladies that I've color matched in person and they have this color that's right next to their lash line, and it's like small little vessels, and it's just like a natural liner, and it looks so pretty, and some people want to cover that up, and that's all I'm doing is I have a few, so I'm just tapping in between them and enhancing that color next to them. All right, now I'm going to filter out, which is quick now because I have focused on only what's light. So what's dark, any small distractions is going to be much more minimal. And I'm going to use just 03 and a little detailed artist brush. I lightly tap in it, and we only want to dot within the darkest point. So I just want to find things, and you learn your face pretty quick, that take away from the shape, like drags this down and like in here. So I just want to find that darkest point within that section, and you just dot it. I'm not going to put it on and say blend it out, and look at the difference already. All right. I'm not trying to erase all the color. I'm just trying to minimize with this 03. So the 03 is an orange, and it's in the neutral range. It's a pretty peachy color, and it's just going to neutralize depth of color. No matter your skin tone, you can use one or two of these correctors, and that's all you'll need. You don't need tons of color, although I do have a little different colors. It ends up, just because I think I might need it, doesn't mean you need it. It doesn't mean I need it either. And notice I'm just targeting darkest points that take away from the shape. And notice the eyes are a lot brighter and bigger. And anything that's like a distraction to you, please don't think, which I was not a believer thinking I would, because I wanted to cover up everything. But now just taking care of the things that are most distracting or that shows damage or mimics, like, you know, a broken capillary or a breakout, something that doesn't resemble you and your face structure, you know, or takes away from it. That's what you focus on. So in this side is a lot more sun damage and veinage than the other side. So just target the darkest ones and move, you know, touch and go. And I'm just applying a little touch, and I kind of squiggle the brush over it. And notice how I'm lightly tapping. I'm not diving into that. You just want to touch and go. Sometimes this right here, if I, you know, my chin tends to break out sometimes. If it's anything resembling red, you need either a Y01 or an OY1. The brighter and the more fiery it looks, don't go to green first. Go to a yellow, like an NY-1 or an OY1, also according to your skin tone. But sometimes as they heal, they just really have a dullness to them. So it's like a healing, like a scar. Just take the depth away with the O3 or something like that, and leave some of the color because it's skin around it, and you want your skin to have that skin look to it. So it's variations of color in it, or just taking away the things that are distracting. And this vein, this side of my eye, just, you don't want to make a line with the vein. I am just targeting dark points within it. Sometimes I take another color, which, here, I'll show you. Let me clean this brush off. This is another spot brush. Barney, what are you doing there? What is that? What's that a picture of? I can't see it. I haven't got your glasses in here. My husband's sending me things and I don't know what that is. All right, I'm going to clean this off, and the top part of this vein is catching light. You see that? So that's a light area. I'm going to use this NR very, very lightly. Notice how the brush is going on top of it, and I'm only going to tap it right on top of that light area. Now, Mike, what is that? And I'm just targeting the light part of my vein, and look at that. That is so much better. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't, but I want to show you, if you have a vein that bulges out like that, where it's catching the light, usually on top, and then catch the shadow underneath it with something to filter out the dark. And I'm just using O3 under that vein where it's shadowed. So much better. And there's nothing I can do about that vein, but I can definitely get rid of the excess color. I'm going to use this O3. Still got too much here. If you have broken capillaries after you applied cheek color, just go in there and just lightly tap different little spots. The leaves are killing me. I'm surprised my sinuses are not all swollen this morning, because top part of my lip, I have lines on top of my lip, so I'm just taking out those dark little age spots that accentuate them. kind of shadowy. If you ever use this 03 and it looks pink after you applied it, that means you don't need the orange, you need yellow. So you need something with yellow in it. So these, anything that looks like a raspberry or a blueberry, those kinds of things, I am going to use, cleaned off my brush, and I'm lightly going to use 01. These guys, I've had 2 years. I don't think I've ever run out. Going to just take out the depth of purple. And see, I got too much. I got too much on my brush. And you just really want to, now if it's peeling or flaky, just be super minimal, and I would use more of the neutrals. Like if it's peely, use like the NY, something with depth in it, because these filters will just stick to the flaky skin and you're going to see that color. And just focus on, just know it's going to be, if you have a bump and it's flaky and healing, just, okay, so it's just going to be flaky. There's nothing you can do about that, but it's best just take out the excess color of it and as it heals. And I find that looks a lot better than putting a concealer or trying to cover every bit of that. You know, it's just everybody, I mean, you're going to notice a bump. So if you just kind of take out the excess color, they're less distracting. See how this has a depth of color around it? So it's a shadow. So I went to 03 around it just to take that shadow out. Yes. I'm telling you. It just takes so little. Plus, it's the learning curve is your expectations. Taking a foundation on your skin and it's instant gratification. And it's satisfying immediately. And that's the learning curve. This is not going to be like that. The change comes on you softly. And that's the reason why I love seeing before and afters of my ladies and take their picture, because as you're doing it and as you're applying it, it's like, wait a second, do we do anything more, different? It just looks good. And then you look at the before and after and say, oh my gosh, then you really see the power of Demi. I'm just taking a little bit of 03 and lightly tapping little dots over these massive veins that I have in my forehead. Okay, I can do the same thing on my lips. Remember that dark little spot? I'm lightly taking a little bit of 03 and touching that dark spot. It's like a freckle in my lip. All right, last little thing. That was 03, a little bit of white 01. I don't really have to do this part, but I really like it, is red one. Red, this little pink, is going to remove everything that resembles any kind of pigment. Use it super minimal. Don't always go to reds if you see pigment or an age spot. If it ever looks like toothpaste when you apply it, that means because you erased absolutely all of the pigment color, and that's not what you want. You just want to take away the depth of color so it still looks like skin. But you can use the reds in places where you want a touch of brightness without looking like an illuminator or looking unnatural or not like skin. So I have, most ladies, right here in this little area, as we age, this bone, there's a little collection of pigment right here on the orbital bone, and it can give you, as I smile, you see it, it can give you the illusion of tiredness or being pulled down. So I'm going to take a little tiny red one, and right here, this, and I want it in this area because It's like that little fleck of reflection on an apple, and you know it's round. Okay, so when I take away that excess color there of that brown spot, super subtle, there's part of it, and you can see that's much fuller, and this looks much fuller. Okay, I'm not trying to make this light and bright. I just want to take away that dull brown that gives the illusion of this coming down. I'm just taking away that dull, muddy brown. And this side is a little different. It comes down in a different spot. It's right in here. Do you see that? So I always like each spot is different on each lady. So you got to follow your, got too much on my brush, your shape. Yay. You could do that on the top lip. There's so much you can do. I'm trying to stay very simple today, but I get excited about it, and sometimes I just like, here, let me show you this. Just right in here, in the front part of the lip, those little age spots, freckles, I can filter them out. All right, I'm done. All I need to do now is put on my mascara. This needs no setting. It needs no setting powder. It needs no setting spray. It will never crease. It will wear as long as you wish. It's undetectable on your skin and never will crease. I love it. If you wish to have simple little colors, let's see, what did I use? I used NR. I used NV, that's 2 colors. And then I used 03. I used Spellbound, Little Y01, and Red Light, 6 little colors. Then I did this for my brows. It's just like, and I have a palette that's bigger than this. I'm telling you, you just need a few colors and that's all of your makeup. Now, you can wear eyeshadows with this. I mean, it's very, very versatile. It can be wedding makeup. It can be glam makeup. That's, you would just go in more intensified in lip color maybe and eye color. It's very versatile, and you need it on your face. So if you wish to be color matched and want with these palettes, you would go to yes.outtherematchme.com, and I will send you graphics and videos specific to you, helping you to your application method and guide you on the colors and how they can be used. You can also follow on my account all of the different ways that I've used this method. It's a lot more fun and versatile than just your foundation and your concealer, because there's so many things you can do with it. Plus, it changes with you as your skin changes. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm going to go ahead and put on my mascara, and I'll take my after. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Share this video with your friends. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a wonderful Saturday.